Hey, kia ora, Helen Brahms here coming to you live from Mesa in Arizona. Hope you're all having a super fantastic sparkling tune-up Tuesday. It is going to be an incredible day today, lots to be done, um, and a very special day too. But first, before we tell you what the special day is, Tune-up Tuesday, it's all about making those tweaks or massive changes to a process in the business world, in mindset. It's just either making a small tweak to tune up, because when you go to tune up a car, you got to make sure the timing's right and all of that. I don't know about all these new computerized things, but I know from working with my dad in his garage, getting in the garage and spending time with my dad, I learned how to do the timing belt with the little strobe light thingy mabob, and just doing those little tune up things so that the car would perform better. That's basically what we're doing on Tune Up Tuesdays. We're making those little tweaks and changes that help the processes run a little smoother, that help our mindset get to where we want our mindset to be. So remember yesterday we were talking about sowing the seeds this week, putting the seeds out there and then reaping what comes, and then we get to reap what comes later on during harvest. But it's where we plant those seeds that we need to make sure. Are we throwing them on dry ground where the birds can come and pick at them? Are we throwing them on the rocky ground and them not being able to establish their roots because of the rocks, so they wither and die? Are we putting them in amongst the thorns where they get strangled, or are we putting them on good fertile soil where they will flourish and grow? So that's what we got to do with Tune Up Tuesday, is that we're looking at making those little tweaks to make sure that our seeds land in that good fertile soil, so that they grow, become strong, healthy plants, and we get to reap a good harvest. So that's what we're looking at this week is for Tune Up Tuesday, is making those little tweaks and changes. It could be, I just realized I didn't finish writing Tuesday on here. Tuesday, there we go. So yeah, forgot the AY. But anyway, so, and also making those little tweaks and changes within our own mindset. Are we opening our mind to the opportunities? Are we putting ourselves out there? Are we stepping outside our comfort zone to help us achieve those little tweaks and changes? We could be shuffling up to the edge of the comfort zone, but are we ready to make that little tweak that will help us step over the edge of that comfort zone into the magical world of abundance, of opportunities, of growth, of strength, of courage? Well, it actually takes strength and courage to step outside your comfort zone too. So are we ready to do that? So just start tweaking those little, making those little tweaks and changes that will get you there. And you can. It's relevant in anything that you do. If something's not working right, what tweaks and changes can we make to help it become the thing we want it to become? It could be, recipe. You're making a great meal for dinner, and you just want to make. Oh, now this is me. If anybody has been in the kitchen with me, they will know this. And my stepsons definitely know this. My husband knew this as well, that when Helen steps into the kitchen, you never know what's going to come out. She may be making mac and cheese, but it's my way. And it's making those tweaks and changes. Make a perfect mac and cheese. Yes, I can do a perfect mac and cheese. I can even make a mac and cheese that has no gluten and no dairy in it at all. And it still tastes like a regular mac and cheese. That's how good I am in some areas. But but I couldn't get to that stage of making the gluten-free, dairy-free mac and cheese without making tweaks and changes to the recipes to perfect it. But then mac and cheese is one of those things that, yes, I can make a basic mac and cheese like crazy, and it tastes really, really good. But the tweaks and changes come, and it's sort of like, oh, I've got some bacon bits. I'm going to throw them into the mac and cheese. Oh, we've got some leftover roast beef. What if I chop that up and put that in there? Oh, we've got some leftover vegetables. Let's chop them up and put that in there as well. So you kind of end up with this mac and cheese, Helen's way. So it's making those little tweaks and changes. When you're making a recipe and you're taste testing the bits along the way, and it's like, oh, could do with a pinch more salt, or a pinch of sugar, or a pinch of like turmeric, or let's put some paprika in there, or some thyme or some rosemary, going through all the different herbs and spices that you can put into a food, and then you taste it again. Yeah, now that tastes good. So remember all those times that we're taste testing a recipe. It could be making a gravy, it could be making a sauce, it could be what else do we taste test along the way? Maybe making a soup. Things that you can taste test along the way, and you're making those little adjustments by adding a little more of this, a little more of that, or putting a new ingredient in there. That is making tweaks and changes. That is tuning up the recipe until you're happy with it. I know my husband, I can make chili, but I never make it hot enough. I don't eat chili. I'm not a spicy person as far as eating spice goes. But my husband would get in there. He would make his chili and he would let it sit there on the back burner and just simmer away for a little bit. And then he'd come back a few minutes later, 20, 30 minutes later, he'd taste test it. And he'd stand there and he'd go, and he'd add a little of this, a little of that. And, he was tuning it up. He was tuning up his chili recipe. So it was perfect for what he wanted it for, to reach that level that he wanted it to reach. So that's what we're doing with business, with things in life, with our recipes. So making those little tweaks and those little changes. To me, a recipe is a foundation. What you do on top of that's when you get to be creative in the kitchen. And I love being creative in the kitchen. I do that with cooking, not with baking. Baking is a little more of a precise science. I do make some slight tweaks and changes in there, but I have to remember to, when you're baking cookies or cakes or stuff like that, you have to remember to, I follow the recipe, and it might be just adding an ingredient. Like I might add some chocolate chips to a plain. What was I making one time? I was making pound cake. Had to go out making pound cake, the original pound cake. A pound of sugar, a pound of butter, a pound of flour. The pound of. Hence the reason pound cake. And then I thought, what would this like taste like with chocolate in it? So I just grabbed some chocolate chips and threw them in. I did not do a pound of chocolate chips. That would have been a really good idea, but I decided to do not a pound. A packet, maybe, yeah. I think I threw a packet in there. I had this big bowl going. Maybe a packet. Was it a full packet? Can't remember. But I put the chocolate chips in there. That was my little tune-up to the recipe. It tasted fine. In fact, it tasted really, really good. But it's taking those chances, it's taking those risks, it's making those little fine-tuning things that helps us prepare ourselves. Because if we don't prepare ourselves mentally for success and abundance and opportunities and stuff, we're not going to find them. So that's what it is. It's because you may turn and say, "Oh, I want to make $1 million a year." Have you ever made $1 million a year before? Do you know what that feels like? Do you know what it feels like to have that money in the bank? What does that feel like? If you don't know if your mindset is not ready for it, because your mind's going to go, $1 million? Wow, that's so cool. Oh, what am I going to do? And you start panicking a little bit, and your brain's panicking a little bit because it's sort of like, I've never had $1 million. I don't know what I'm going to do with $1 million. What am I going to do with $1 million? Oh my gosh. And and you can also start the self-sabotaging thing because it's sort of like your mind is not prepared to receive it. So by making our tweaks and tunes, we get prepared to receive what is coming down the path. What is it that we're achieving for? That's why we go through these journeys from setting our goals to finalizing the journey. And we go through all of these changes and obstacles along the way because it's preparing us to receive what it is at the end, to reap that harvest at the end. So when you're looking at where you've sown your seed, you've put it in good fertile soil, but you still have to remember, you've still got to weed the garden. You've still got to water it. You still have to tend it and care for it, and you're going to get bugs coming in. How do you get rid of the bugs? That's an obstacle. And you've got to take care of that garden. You've got to take care of that garden in order for whatever it is you have sown to come to fruition. And there's going to be obstacles along the way. There could be a storm that comes through and wipes out your crop, or almost wipes out your crop. Now you have to revive it again. So that's those obstacles that come along with us in life when we don't know, and that help us stretch and grow and prepare for that harvest that's going to come along. Because if we don't go through those challenges and stuff, we're not going to be prepared mentally to receive the harvest that's coming. So and I can't believe I'm not even a green thumb. I kill plants. Don't give me a garden. Do not give me indoor plants. I kill them. There's only a couple that kind of tend to survive around me, but that's only because my mother comes in every now and again and revives it for me. I managed to keep it going until my mother arrives and she revives it and leaves me with a healthy plant. But I am not a green thumb with gardening. But we were talking about sowing seeds and I kind of have the basics down. I'm not a green thumb. That skipped me altogether. So that's our Tune Up Tuesday, except for one more thing. Today is also a special day for me personally. It was 24 years ago today, in 1997, if you're doing the math, that I arrived here in the US, that I moved to the US. So 24 years ago today, I moved to the US and have been living here ever since. Gone back to New Zealand a few times, not as much as I wanted to, but then we had the challenge of Brad's cancer come along, and that kind of squished a lot of travel plans along the way and everything else. But yeah, so 24 years ago today, I moved to the US. So that's my big celebration for today. Go out, have a super fantastic Sparkling Tuesday, make those tweaks and changes um, to your mindset, to your business, to your processes, to your recipes, to your gardening skills, so that you can reap the harvest when you achieve your goal. Have a super fantastic Sparkling Tune Up Tuesday, and we will catch you later on today. Hei konera!